And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the big show. We're glad you're here. I'm Brent Gove, and my co-host, my illustrious co-host, Mr. Eric Lofholm. Eric, how you doing today?
Hey, Brent, I'm doing fantastic. Excited to be with you and all of our listeners from all over the world. Today, we are talking about momentum. And so, share with us your thoughts on momentum.
Absolutely. So, number one, momentum is how you get everything done in your life. I love this quote, Eric. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. It's like your garage. I gotta clean the garage or your closet. We're the two things you always like. I don't want to clean the garage. I want to clean the closet. My closet's a mess. The garage was. But when you get out there and you move the cars out, and you start moving stuff. Beginning is the hardest part. But once you kind of get your mojo, once you get into it, you get some momentum, and then all of a sudden, an hour later or 4 hours later, depending on how messy your garage is or your closet, it looks great. You feel great. So just from a perspective of getting things done, starting is half. It's 50% of the job is the first step. It's getting off the couch onto your feet, into the battle, into the heat, opening that garage door, going upstairs to your master bedroom closet and go, it's you and it's me, and you're going down. And you just rip everything out and you put the shirts over here and the pants over here and the jackets over here, the shoes over there. Why do I talk like this? Because I literally did that today. And I feel great. And it creates endorphins. You're like, I'm a beast. What'd you do? You cleaned your messy closet. And Kathy and I had flown to West Palm Beach this weekend, hung out with Tony Robbins and a guy named Pace Morby. If you know Pace, what a great guy. I got to know him. Dr. Oz was there, hung out with Dr. Oz all weekend. Brian McKnight. There were so many cool people there. AJ Gupta, he manages a $300 billion fund. Mark Hyman, he's taken over the RFK, Make America Healthy Again. Mark Harmon's the guy who's going to do it. That's who's working with RFK out of New York. He was there all weekend. The most amazing people in the world were there. I'm super pumped. And so being around people who energize you is important, but more importantly, having momentum in your life energizes you. It creates endorphins. Everything is done with momentum. So you kind of get the five priorities in life. You got family, you got faith, you got fitness, you got finances, and you got fun. I'll say it again. In fact, I'll prioritize it for me. What I do is I put faith at the top. My relationship with God. If you don't have one, that's cool. But if your faith is important to you, for me, I'd put that at top. And then your family, and specifically, I do my wife Kathy, and then the kids. It's not my family equal because I didn't marry my kids. I married my wife, and we had kids. So the kids all know mom is a priority. I love them. I would take a bullet for them. I'd run in front of a car. I'd give my life for my kids. But they know that mom is numero uno, and then they are right there, close second. But they know I got mom's back, I got their back, but Mama Bear is number one. So I got faith, I got family, I got fitness. Without your health, you have nothing. And then you got finances are fourth, and then fun. And you need momentum in all areas of your life. Like faith, do you feel spiritually alive right now? Do you feel close to God? Do you feel like you hear his voice? Do you feel like, man, it's good, it's good? Or are you like, man, I don't even have a relationship with God. I got this big void in my life. I'm suicidal. Maybe you're fighting mental depression. So you can get some momentum in that area of your life. Get some books on faith. Um, you know, DM me, reach out to me. I'll point you in the right direction. But find your faith in God. For me, I'm a Christian. I go that route. That's for me. So I don't know what your faith is, but I pursue that, and it fills my soul. And the more you read, the more a momentum you gain, the more you pray. I mean, we've been praying over our kids, over their future spouses. Some of them are married. We pray over the spouse. We pray over our grandkids. Today I was golfing with Gene Frederick and Rainey Bird, and Ashley won Miss Puerto Rico. Then she went on to win Miss Global. And today's her last day at the golf course. And she'd worked there for 10 years. But now she's going on to better things. But I said, can I just say a short prayer for you for your future? And she's like, yes. And so I just said like a little 30-second prayer of blessing over her. And we had her eyes. I look up and she's just crying. I mean, tears flowing down her face. So I have momentum in the area of my faith that it overflows. And she hugged me. She was so grateful. I got hugged by Miss Global. And so it was pretty awesome. But to give without worrying about receiving, you just give because you're a giver. Do you have momentum in your faith? Do you have momentum in your family? Like, hey, how's your family going? Like, oh, that sucks. I thought can we just focus on real estate here? Can we just focus on sales here? Here's the deal. It doesn't matter how much money you make if you destroy your family. It doesn't matter how successful you are at work if you just blow up your family. That's why it's faith and then family. So how many books on business have you read? Well, Brent, I've read 30, 40, 50 books on. Have you read The Greatest Salesman World? Yep. Have you read The Richest Man in Babylon? Definitely. Have you read How to Influence People, the Bible of Sales? Yeah, I've read that book. Have you read The Noticer by Andy Anna? Oh, yeah, I read it. How about The Go-Giver? Oh, yeah, I read The Go. How about branding? I got a great book here, Building a Story Brand, right here by Donald Miller. Reading that one. Yeah, I read that one. Great. How many books you read on marriage? None. How's your marriage? Struggling. So the reason you don't have momentum in your family is how many books have you read on parenting? Well, the kids are bad. You spank them when they're bad. When they're good, you praise them. How complicated is it? Oh, baby, I have 8 children. You can learn a lot from other people that have gone before. And it's called not paying the dumb tax. For those of you that have a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, and you're afraid to go out to dinner because the kids might act up, we learned from an older couple that said we learned to prepare our kids. Hey, we're going to go into a restaurant. We're going to use our inside voices, and we'd all practice. Let's all practice talking quieter. It revolutionized the Go family because the kids need some coaching from mom and dad. We go out to dinner. Before that, we'd wonder, why are they taking silverware and smashing it on the table? Why are they screaming and yelling? And we're like, oh, shh. Yeah, because we didn't prep them. We didn't coach them. So we started coaching our kids. Okay, we're going to go out to dinner. We're going to say please and thank you. We're going to use our inside. We're going to talk quieter. And everyone try. Okay, Dad, I got it. Are we going to grab our silverware and smash it up and down? Nope. We're going to. And it just completely changed everything because we went to family training events, family seminars. We read books on family. I read a book called Red Hot Mahogany. That's a great book on marriage. And yes, there is a chapter on sex. All the guys, okay, I'll read a book on marriage if there's a chapter on sex. But here's the deal. Have you read books on marriage? And then you realize, man, I haven't read books on family or marriage or raising kids. There's a series called Growing Kids God's Ways by the Ezzos. Great series. Have you read? Have you listened to it? I haven't. And then you wonder why you have no momentum in your faith, no momentum in your family. Maybe you're not happy in your marriage, and the kids, you don't even know how to deal with this 13-year-old or this 15-year-old son or daughter, or the kids are running wild on you, or you're not studying fitness. I just flew to Fiji and spent 19 days. Well, it's easier for you. You've got money. I've always applied myself. I went bankrupt in 1996. I lost everything I owned in 2008, including my personal home. Um, I've had to reinvent myself, but I've always pushed myself to read, to go to events. And then I earned it all back after going bankrupt in 96. I earned it all back after losing everything in 08. And here we are. But now I'm really focused on not paying the dumb tax, which means I'm learning from people who have gone before me in the area of my faith, in the area of my family, in the area of fitness. And I'm learning. I went to Tony Robbins Resort. We studied cellular biology. And I now understand how vital it is to drink water. It's like, it's not kind of important. It's like really, 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 really important. It keeps you from being inflamed. Healthy cells fight cancer. But most of your cells, including mine, you drink 2 or 3 glasses of water today. Yeah, try multiply that by about 10. You need 20 or 25 glasses of water. Oh, I might pee. Yep. Pee your way to health. You might pee more. You're getting toxins out of your body. But I have momentum in that area of my life right now. It is awesome. Finances. Oh, you're finally talking to us. You're finally back to business. Let's talk about home sales. Let's talk about making money, baby. Let's talk about net income. Let's talk about putting money in the bank. Let's talk about investing with compounding returns. That's great. But if your family blows up and you're completely unhealthy and you have no faith in God. I met one guy, good family, multi millionaire. I was with him last week, and 3 years ago he tried to take his life, and he
Wow.
was he's very public about it. He's from Poland, a gentleman from Poland, probably 50 years old. He's ran 9 Ironmans. He looks like an Ironman. He was chiseled, dressed out of GQ magazine, and he's totally into mental health right now because he tried to take his life 2 years ago. He is, I've got all the cars, I've got the homes, I have money. I think he owns 2,000 apartments. He's
Wow.
known as the apartment guy, or more, 2 to 3,000. He's super multi millionaire. And he goes, I felt completely empty because he didn't have that thing called faith. And so he had momentum in his family and in his finances, right? And in his fitness. He was killing it in three, but there are five major areas of your life: faith, family, fitness, finances, and fun. And by the way, if you're doing great in the top four, but you never have fun, you're workaholic, you work 24/7, it's not a question of if, but when you burn out. So make sure you take a day off and go kite surfing or mountain biking or hiking or whatever it is, fly fishing, hunting, golf. Maybe you play pickleball, but do something that feeds your soul, that's fun, and take a day off and do something for you that you enjoy, and then spend time with your family. Even God rested on the seventh day. If the Alpha and the Omega, the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, had to rest on the seventh day. I mean, he didn't have to, but he was being an example for us. Maybe you should too. So it's all about developing momentum in your life. And I'll end with this. I want to talk about momentum in your business because you guys are all real estate people, or whoever you are. You own businesses, you're entrepreneurs. So massive action creates results. So how do you create momentum in your real estate business? It starts with this: most people don't have enough prospects for their solar company, enough prospects for their mortgage company, enough prospects for their, like, nobody's calling me to list their home. So go get it, man. Go get it. So you got to say, okay, how do I get people that might want to list their home with me? And then you answer those questions. Well, you do open houses on the weekend. And then when they say, well, we have a home to sell, I'm not sure. You just say, oh, I'm trained as an appraiser, because you have been trained by your broker. If you've ever looked up homes and I think the value's here, and you go, would you like me to come over and give you a free appraisal? It's not an actual bank appraisal, but you can pay them $500, but I believe mine's more accurate. And here's why. A bank appraisal is looking back 6 months, 8 months, 12 months if they have to. I do that, but I look at right now. What will the market bear right now? I go, yeah, but if it isn't appraised, it can't sell. People pay cash for homes all the time. 30% of all homes right now are owned cash outright. As someone who wants that home, I just paid $2.1 million for a property, and I didn't care what it appraised for. And if it was short $200,000-300,000, I was just going to pay the difference. So here's the deal: if you offer people your opinion of value, which is more valuable than appraisal they would pay for from a bank, and you explain why, and I just explained why, because a home is worth what someone's willing to pay for. Yes, if they're getting a loan, it isn't appraised, that creates some issues. But most people say, yeah, come on over. And now you get your foot in the door for a listing. And so, whether it's door knocking or calling or doing your sphere, like, oh, I called 2 or 3 people today. No, 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 no. Call 20 or 30 people a day. Go with 20, just 20 a day. You have time. You may be lazy. You have time, but you may be afraid. But you got to overcome your fear. Face your fear. It'll disappear. Run and hide. It'll be magnified. Just get it over with. Quit living a life of quiet desperation. And so if you do 20 a day, you could do it by noon. Oh, I'm kind of busy. No, you're not kind of busy. You're scared, or you're lazy, or you don't see the value of it. 20 a day times 5 is how many? 100 a week times 4 weeks, a typical month, 400 a month. You think you might get a listing? What if you got 2 out of 400 a month? Or times 12, 2 would be 24 listings a year, and your average income is 10,000 a listing. After you sell it, that's 240,000 a year, $250,000 a year. Go out there, kind of find a job at a quarter, and that's your first year. You don't even know what you're doing. And then as you get better, maybe you get 3 a month, then 4 a month. I ended up having 18 to 28 listings active at all times. I'd sell two, three, four a weekend. And all of a sudden you start making three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 900, $1 million a year. And then as you learn to leverage and invest and do other things, the hardest thing to do is get to make a quarter of a million or half a million or a million. Once you get to a million, it's easy to go 2, 3, 4, 5 million. It's much easier because you have momentum. So momentum is the key to your family. It's the key to your faith. It's the key to your fitness. Once you're going to the gym every day, you're exercising, you're walking. My wife and I walk an hour every single day without fail. We never miss. We go for an hour every day and we walk fast, and not too fast. And we're in cardio and we're eating right. We're drinking a ton of water. You can't see me. I'm on a Zoom, but I got a giant thing of water, and I drink water like it's going to style, a little Celtic salt at night, in the morning. And I'm just on fire. I got momentum in my life. I got so many endorphins. Like, Brent, how do you do it? How do you have this energy? Because I got momentum, man. And so can you. You just got to quit making excuses. One of my favorite sayings I heard 40 years ago: excuses are like armpits. Everyone has a couple and they stink. So stop telling me why you can't and start telling me why you can. And be willing to fail. Well, I might say it wrong. Say it wrong. That's how you say it right. You have to say it wrong in a short period of time, and it's game over. So those are my thoughts on momentum. Eric, I'd love to have you chime in on maybe something I said or your own experience with momentum in your own life. Thoughts?
Wow. What a message, Brent. I mean, for all of you listening, this is one you got to go listen to this one 10 times and hear what Brent was just sharing. I loved the message about massive action. I love the message, and I resonate with this. My wife is the most important relationship in my life. So all of you out there married,
Come on, baby.
all of you out there that are married, do you prioritize your spouse, and does your spouse know it? I love how Brent said, his kids are super important and they know, mom is number one. And I resonate with that. I love that message. I wanted to share two thoughts before we wrap up. And one is that my son, who's 22 now, when he was 16, he left home. We didn't speak for about 3 years. And he started calling me Eric as a way of like, I'm going to disrespect you. I'm going to call you Eric. And he and I are back on great terms now. And I wanted to just share that if anybody's listening right now, if you have a broken relationship with one of your kids, which it really
Yeah.
devastating emotionally on me when I was going through that, I wanted to share a message of optimism that better days are in front of you, and it is possible that
Come
you can
on.
get back to where you were, even better. And when it was dark for my son and I didn't know if that was ever going to happen, but thank God it did. And I also wanted to just briefly share back when I became homeless when I was 25 years old. I had a business failure. My wife and I separated. We eventually got back together, but we separated, and I ran out of money. My car got repossessed. I went through a bankruptcy, and I got this crappy waiter job, Brent, at Harrah's Casino at the coffee
Nice.
shop, graveyard shift. And when I
What,
got
up in South Lake Tahoe?
this is one in Reno.
Oh,
Yeah,
Reno. Oh, even grimier. All
it's in
right.
Reno.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
And when I got the job, Brent, I had this surge of energy because I had been beaten down in life. And what I learned is success has a momentum to it, but so does struggle. And my life was going down, and I'm like, am I ever going to turn this around? And I just kept getting beat up, getting knocked down. And then when I got this crappy waiter job, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can turn this around. And what I learned is that small wins creates confidence. And so if anybody's listening to this right now and you feel beat down in life, you feel, you're going through struggle right now, go get a small win. Get yourself into massive action to get a small win. And then all of a sudden you kind of get that bounce back in your step. And now you're taking action from that bounce in your step as opposed to being struggle. So I want to share that with everybody and just, again, encourage you to listen to this podcast. Brent was on fire. That was an amazing, amazing message, guys. Short little podcast. Share it with your team. Share with everybody in your organization. And I'm going to personally listen to this at least 10 times. It was that that good. Great message, Brent. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for bringing the fire today.
You got it, man. Thank you, Eric. Love you guys. Have a great week. Go get them. And we'll see you on the next podcast.